The province has passed legislation to bring the nearly 5-month-long strike at York University to an end. An omnibus bill containing the legislation passed third reading late this afternoon. The labor dispute at the Toronto University started on March 5th, and it saw 3,000 contract faculty and teaching support staff walk off the job over wages and job security. This now paves the way for classes to resume in the fall. The workers' union, CUPE, has said it would consider launching a legal challenge if back-to-work legislation was used.
You're watching Global Toronto. This is Global News at 5:30.
Welcome back. We have breaking news this hour, and this comes from Queen's Park. The Ford government's just passed a major piece of legislation. We have our Jamie Morocker. She's live at CUPE. Jamie, tell us, what is this all about?
Well, Farah, this is one of the first promises that Doug Ford made as Premier, and that was to make sure that York University students were back in class as soon as possible. How he was going to do that? We knew that it was going to be through back-to-work legislation. Today, that legislation has passed, which essentially means these teachers' assistants, there's about 2,000 of them who have been off since March, are going to be forced back into the classroom. It's a move that the Civil Liberties Union called unconstitutional, worrying that this could be a marker for what will happen to other union workers, that they'll be forced back to work as well. Students may be back in the classroom as soon as Monday with their teachers' assistants, according to the education minister, but that deadline is not set in stone.
At Queen's Park, back-to-work legislation has now been passed to end the strike at York University. The work stoppage has lasted nearly 5 months, affecting unionized contract faculty and teaching assistants. They walked off the job over a series of issues, including wages and job security. The back-to-work legislation was supported by the Progressive Conservatives and Liberals, but not the NDP. Students will head back to class in the fall.
Nearly 5 months after it began, the province has passed legislation to bring the strike at York University to an end. The bill was introduced last week and passed third reading this afternoon. Some 3,000 contract faculty and teaching assistants have been off the job since March 5th. At issue, wages and job security. Ontario's Labour Minister says the bill makes sure the school and union will now enter binding arbitration and get students back to class in time for the fall semester. CUPE, which represents the workers, has said it's considering a legal challenge to the back-to-work legislation.
Legislation to end the nearly 5-month-long strike at York University passed the legislature late this afternoon. The strike began on March 5th. Some 3,000 contract faculty, along with graduate teaching and research assistants, they walked off the job over issues of wages and job security. Labour Minister Laurie Scott says the bill ensures the school and union will enter into binding interest arbitration and get the school's 45,000 students back to classes in time for the fall.